When we follow the digestive tract, we begin right here in the oral cavity. So you'll see the teeth, you'll see the tongue, food moves all the way down here. It's chewed up and we are swallowing it down. So when we swallow, remember the epiglottis, which is what you see right here, folds over so that food does not go down our trachea. And that food stuff gets pushed to the back of our throats, travels all the way down here. This is the esophagus. Esophagus brings that food all the way down in a bolus of food, comes to this region right here, which is called the cardia. The cardia is the beginning of the stomach. So we have the several regions of the stomach actually. The cardia, the fundus, which is this dome-shaped structure at the top here, the body, and the pylorus. So cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. Now if I remove this, what you'll actually see on the inside here, again, cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus, are the rugae. The rugae are sort of these gastric folds that you see on the inside. When we fill up our stomachs with food, they expand and disappear. When we empty out our stomachs, obviously they start to reappear again. From this point, we move through the pyloric sphincter, and we are now into the small intestines. So there are three parts of the small intestine: duodenum, jejunum, or ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Sometimes you'll hear the first one as duodenum. Duodenum, duodenum, doesn't matter to me how you pronounce it. That's this first segment right here, about 10 inches or so, right along here. And this region is really important because this is where we have sort of a connection with some of the accessory organs of the digestive system. So up here, what you'll see is the liver. This is the liver, this is the gallbladder, and that's all going to tie in here with duodenum as well. Same thing here. This is the pancreas. In fact, you can see this pancreatic duct running all the way through there. This is also going to tie in with the duodenum. So the secretions that are coming from the gallbladder, from the pancreas, those secretions are going to come right in through here into the duodenum. From here, the duodenum goes into the jejunum. The jejunum is the second segment of the small intestine. This is all jejunum here. From there, we get to the ileum. You can see the ileum reaching all the way back here. This is the third segment. And at this point, we get to this structure right here. We call this the ileocecal sphincter. The ileocecal sphincter, because it's coming from the ileum to the cecum. And the cecum is the first part now of our large intestine. That's what you see in gray right here, the large intestine. So the cecum, if you look actually, let me point this out while we're down here. Dangling off the bottom of the cecum, this is what we call the vermiform appendix. You've heard of it as your appendix before. But the cecum is not part of the digestive system, but again, I just want to point it out there. From here, we now get into the rest of the large intestine. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the colon. This first segment right here is what we call the ascending colon. Ascending because it is ascending or going up. Think of ascending a flight of stairs. What I've removed right here, coming right across here, you can see it's been taken away. It would look just like this. This is what we call the transverse colon. Transverse colon comes across. It transverses or goes across our bodies this way. This is the transverse colon. And then we get into the descending colon. The descending colon is going to make a descent. It's going down, 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 like you're descending a flight of stairs. Now, a couple other things I want to point out about this. Along here, you'll see these bumps, these gray bumps, 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 bumps. These are called haustra, okay? And these haustra, again, are controlled by muscles. This is called the tinea coli. You can see it looks like sort of a light grayish line on this model. If we come to the other side here, you'll see it as well, the tinea coli. And these are layers of muscle that help to sort of cause these haustra to squeeze, 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 because what we're doing is we're actually compacting that material that's in here. And that's what eventually will become our feces. All the way across here. Now, as we come up ascending colon, we get to this turn right here. We call this the right colic flexure. Sometimes it's called the hepatic flexure because hepato means liver, and your liver is right up here. This is your liver on this model here. So we call this the right hepatic flexure. As we come across like this, we get to the left colic flexure. The left colic flexure is sometimes called the splenic flexure. Here's your spleen, not part of the digestive system, but again, I just want to point it out. From that splenic flexure, or the left colic flexure, again, we come down the descending colon, all the way down here, and behind here, tucked behind here, you don't see it very well on this model, but this is where the sigmoid colon would be. Like the Greek letter S, sigma, it makes sort of a loopy S shape back there. And then at this point, we get to the rectum and the anus, and then obviously fecal matter comes out from there. One last structure I want to point out on here are the sphincters that we have in this region. So we have an internal anal sphincter muscle, and we have an external anal sphincter muscle. Remember, a sphincter is a muscle that can open and close on itself. So internal anal sphincter, external anal sphincter.